What's up? Welcome to yet another episode. So if you are new to my channel, my name is Mary. If you are a returning subscriber, as always, welcome home. So let's talk to our dear ones that are in their 20s. I have 4 things that I consider to be very, very important for the people that are just from at the age of 20 to 29. Number one is education. So education is very important, and especially in early 20s. You've just stepped out of high school, you get into college, and sometimes into universities. This is my advice to you. Once you get to these higher institutions of learning, ensure that you are very serious with your education. Pursue that dream career with by being very passionate about it. Don't waste your time in colleges and universities. And this is very, very serious, because I know in high school you had teachers, in school they were always just on you, ensuring that you follow the school rules and regulation. But once you go to college, you are like, wow, I have all this freedom. So you have all the freedom. It is up to you whether you want to go in and attend the lectures or not. It is up to you. And this is where most of the people in their early 20s mess, education wise. I know most of you have experience, and especially those ones who have gone through colleges, or let me just say higher institutions of learning. There are those people that we joined with, but they never made it to the graduation list. I know you can identify with such people. And the reason is because once they stepped in higher institutions of education, they did not take education seriously. And the reason is because of the sudden freedom. Like, you have a lot of freedom. Your parent is not there. There's no one who is there just to be on your neck. Like, there's no one who is reminding you that this is what you're supposed to do. You become your own, you become your own. Like, you make your own decisions. And this is where most people fail, and especially in early 20s. You realize that you're not serious with your education. You don't care. Sometimes even you miss exams, you miss those cuts. And then you realize that at the end of 4 years, you are not in the graduation list. But remember, your parents have high expectations of you. And sometimes I've seen parents who were not aware that their children did not go through the 4 years course. They, call all the neighbors in the village, all the relatives. They come for the graduation ceremony, only to realize that their child is not in the graduation list. So it is so, so sad. Very sad. So please, if you are in your early 20s, remember that education is still very, very important. And especially at this point, this is where you are shaping your career. This is where you are shaping your future. And therefore, take it as serious as you can. Because once you mess in these early 20s, and you fail to graduate at the right time, then you will not like the consequences. You'll not like the outcome. And especially if your parents will not be able to forgive you, you'll not like the outcome. Therefore, ensure that your education is your top priority. Top priority. Forget about everything else, because it is there. Your education is what is important. So I hope we are together in that, and we are in agreement. The second thing that I would advise a person who is in their 20s to consider focusing and becoming so serious on is their career. After pursuing your degree, your diploma, your certificate course, and once you get employed, take your employment very serious. Don't play around with it. Remember all the years that you've been in school, starting from nursery school, primary school, high school, and higher institution of learning. You had one dream, and that dream was for you to be employed. So once you're employed, take your employment seriously. Ensure that you go to work, because I've seen, I have the experience. I know there are some people, once they are employed, they don't care. They become irresponsible. They don't report to work. They don't do their duties. And it is quite sad, and especially with this generation. This generation, what is it called? Is it the millennial generation? They don't care. They are just there. They play around, and you find that sometimes even they are dismissed. Imagine being dismissed in your 20s. What is going to be of you? So ensure that you take your career seriously. Once you are employed, start saving. Saving is very important because you're saving for your future, and that is something that is going to impact on you positively. Save as much as you can. I know there's that joy of just being in, in 20s. You have been employed, you have money, you have some loose change. And most of the time you may become tempted. Like over the weekend, a friend tells you, let's go to Mombasa. You jump into the idea. You just buy the idea very quickly without questioning. And you realize that you keep on moving from one town to the other town. By the time you are in at 35 years, you realize that you don't even have a dime in your name. So please, if you are in your 20s and already you have employment, think out of the box. Start saving. If you can invest, the better. The earlier, the better. And then, since you have money, think of furthering your education. If you had a diploma, why not go for a degree? Just keep on climbing the academic ladder until you become a well-established person, so that you can have good careers or the best careers from what you're doing in your 20s. So I hope that is okay with you. And then the other thing, number 3, don't forget about family. Family is very, very important. Don't break ties with your parents, sisters, and brothers. Remember, they have been part of you since you are a little child. Therefore, once you get employment and you are in your 20s, you want to discover and to explore the world. Most of the people in their 20s, this is what they do. They rarely go home. They don't create time for their families. And you find that most of them, they'll always be celebrating, walking around, going to different towns, enjoying, going for vacations, having parties, and spending a lot of money, but they don't remember their people back at home. So this is the time that you should ensure that you have a solid relationship with your family members. Remember, charity begins at home, and because charity begins at home, the family members are very, very key. They are very, very instrumental. Remember, if things go south, as we say, your friends will not be there. They'll not be there. That is the truth. They'll not be there to help you. I've had a conversation with a lot of people that are in their 20s, and especially those ones that things did not go well with them. While you have money, your friends will always be calling you, let's go out, let's go partying. Why don't we go for nyama choma? Why don't we go for a beer party and all that? But once you become broke, because you don't have anything to offer, they are going to run away from you. I had somewhere a conversation with a person who told me that one day, after being dismissed from her employment, she called one of her friends and asked for 2,000 Kenyan shillings. And you know what happened? The friend did not give her the 2,000 Kenyan shillings, but what the friend did, she very first took her phone and started chatting with that group that she was part of, and informing them, like, I imagine person A is asking for 2,000 Kenyan shillings. Can you imagine? They are discussing you. You become a point of discussion. And the reason is because you don't have anything to offer. And who are you going to run to? Remember, you'll run back to your family. And that is why I'm saying that if you are in your 20s, don't forget that family is very, very important. Ensure that you have a stable, solid relationship with your parents, your siblings. These are the people that are going to help you when things become very bad. Number 4, and the last point. Hello, 20s. This is where most of the people in 20s, or most of us who were at that particular age, at that particular point, messed up. And this is on relationships. Remember, for you to get into marriage, you need to have established a serious relationship when you are at 20s. Therefore, if you are in your 20s, ask yourself the kind of person that you're dating today. Is this a person who is serious? Do you see a future with them? Ask yourself, and actually, what brought the two of you together? Was it because of partying? Was it because of whatever the reason? What brought you together? Do you see a future with this person? Is this a person that you picture having a family with? Do you think they are responsible enough? Are you proud of them? Are they proud of you? And if you can't find answers to these questions that I've posed, then you are in the wrong relationship. Get out of that relationship. It is not too late. Get out of that relationship. Look around, and maybe that person, Mr. Right or Miss Right, as we say, they're just somewhere there at the periphery. Because this is what happens most of the time, and especially in early 20s. You get into relationships with people that are never serious. People that are still exploring. Just exploring, having fun. You can imagine at 21, you've just gotten into college, gotten into university, and you become so serious in a relationship with a college mate. Maybe it is out of circumstances or out of situation. That is why you are in that relationship. Imagine being with that person for the next 4 years or 3 years, depending with what you are with at the course that you're pursuing, even sometimes up to 7 years. And towards the end of 7 years, you realize that that was not the right person for you. What is going to happen? That relationship is going to come to an end. That one is obvious. And by the time you realize, you will be in your early 30s. You'll have wasted a lot of years. A lot and a lot of years. So, my dear 20s, be very careful. This message is tailored for both male and female that are in their 20s. Don't waste time in a relationship that you don't see a future in it. Don't waste time with a drunkard and then you tell yourself that once you get married, they are going to change. They'll not change. What you see today is what you're going to get in the future. Don't be in a relationship with a person, maybe a man who is a womanizer in your 20s. What makes you think this person is going to change once you settle down with them? They'll remain the same. And because they'll remain the same, what are you supposed to do? Rescue yourself early enough so that you don't waste time. Remember, number 1, you're wasting time. Number 2, you're wasting your feelings, emotions. Sometimes finances are involved. And the most important part of it, that thing that you'll have wasted, maybe there was someone else who had interest in you. But because you thought you were in a good relationship, you just blocked them at the expense of, just getting into a very good relationship with you. You assumed someone who was so serious with you, a person probably who would have given you or who will give you a family that you would want in future. So please, my dear 20s, comment. Let's make this conversation very interesting. Let us talk. What do you think? What can you say? Drop your comment on the comment section. If you are new to my channel or if you are watching this for the first time, please, if you like what I'm doing, subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Thank you and goodbye for now.